Rage on that beat, going crazy.
good morning, good morning. Morning, good morning. Got Tall Trader in the chat. What's up? Good morning, Mo. Morning, Luke. Morning, everybody in here. Morning, Jane. Architect. Yeah, price is dumping quite heavy here. But the weird thing is the daily is bullish, and we also got a gap on the daily time frame too. Yeah. Same black t-shirt again. Sasri. Have you ever heard the song White T-shirt by Migos? Mama told me not to sell worth 17.5, same color t-shirt. You know what that means? So his mama told him not to sell work. So his mom told him not to sell drugs. Right? And also not to let money change him. 17.5, same color t-shirt. He still buys the same white t-shirt repeatedly, even with all the money that he makes right now. So, you know, it's a sign of a consistency, minimalism, not selling out, integrity. So yeah, I got my same color t-shirt here, like the Migos. But we're going to be looking for gold longs since we have a small little gap over here and we are technically bullish. So I am looking for longs. Hopefully we can get the daily. Let me turn my camera on here. Oh, man, moving this camera all the time. Such a mission. Yeah, so technically we are bullish. So hopefully we can get this indicator here to flip bullish because we do have that gap over there. I don't know if we should just get it off the 0.40%. Right now it's 0.41, or should we just wait for the indicator to flip? As I want to see longs, right? I want to see longs, but the way that the market is behaving right now, it's like it's not giving me much confidence. Like, look at the way Friday's candle over here flipped. It retested the highs, then it flipped, closed bearish, closed below that support. So yeah, it's a bit odd. Let's just see what's happening here on the Fed watch tool. The gap on the daily is because CME group had issues and it wasn't updating. Oh, you see, it's still up like 87.2% right now. So nothing changed. Like, it's kind of interesting where those sellers came from Friday. I think we did have the PCE red folder, and we just got gold like fill up this range too. You got support here, you got another support. Range has been filled. Range is filled. I wish C Trader could say that when a range get filled. Like order filled, but range filled. See, this is pretty nice. But man, let me tell you something. Catching those cells is gonna take you a lot of luck over there. Because yeah, because man, like gold was just faking out the whole morning over here. Just all this whole range over here was just a fake out. Even the first breaks to the downside were not like the most cleanest, to be honest. You already had this one candle here close below support. Then it pulled up. Then got another candle close below support. At least that was a stronger close to start filling some of that range on the left-hand side. Man, not liking the PA right now, to be honest. The first time I took my first 4 losing streak this year. This year, majority of these are just pre-London, man. Like the pre-London is just not working right now. So I just stay patient with it, you know, stay consistent with it. And it should flip over, but damn, look at this 4 losing streak here. Damn. Tough. Now it gets to your head. You know, it gets to your head because now you're thinking, man, is the next trade gonna be a winning trade? Or is it gonna be another losing trade? Slowly gets to your head, but yeah, no worries. I'm not worried. No worries. No worries here. It's like when you go on a roller coaster and you're up here with your friend, with your buddy, and you look at him and he's like all shitting his pants, and you're like, First time? You know what I mean? First time, buddy? First time on the ride? Yeah, we can't be worried about these things. Just have to keep on swimming. Yeah, so right now we are hovering at 0.40%, so I'm gonna wait and see what happens now. Goal target by this week. This week. A black tea again. Target of gold you buy this week. Hey, did you not like my response to that? Or are you just gonna keep saying black tea over and over again? Come on, man, get creative. Get creative with your responses. But daily right now is getting a wick fill situation over here. It's like 400 wick, 400 pips. But I remember like the daily was resistance by 42.40. This was the area that we wanted to see price actually break above there, so price could move up bullish. So you want to see a candlestick close above resistance and then a continue to move upwards, like 910 pips. Mama told me. Mama, I made it. 75, same color t-shirt. Thinking gold ranging today. Oh, thinking gold ranging today. Yeah, we already had one sell-off over here. Like gold was ranging and then that was the only sell that we had, you know? So hopefully right now it's moving and opening up again. I'm just like contemplating whether to take a long, you know? Should I take a schlong? It's just like we're at 0.40. Technically we should be trending. This was the market open here, but there was a gap. Market close here. I opened here. The difference of what, 0.7? So for that to flip, maybe it's gotta read 0.47. Okay. This is a very sticky situation. You took 3x loss into the weekend and it's a little obvious that this for 2025 might take a while to work. Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm just executing my plan here. I don't know, what are you looking at? 40 42.25. 42.25. I don't know. I don't see any like psychological marks at this point. I'm just trying to catch a breakout, man. Like, but the London session has been chopping up. Actually, in general, it's been kind of choppy over here. The pre-London time has been quite choppy. We're getting a lot of wicks. So just gotta rough it out. That's all that I do, you know? It's like throughout the whole year, you have to imagine like each session is gonna have its own situations, right? And you just gotta rough it out. Just sit with it. Just keep executing. Whatever it is you execute on, just keep executing. I don't want to read into it too much, you know? Like if I start reading into things too much, then, you know, that's gonna affect me as well. Gonna affect my psychology. Just need to remain stoic. Stoic and just keep executing. Because, you know, we're past those stages, man. Like we're at a point in our career right now that this is stuff that in year one that you do is you take maybe a 3 or 4 losing streak and then start tweaking a lot or strategy hopping. So I don't do that anymore because, you know, there was a point where I started realizing there's always going to be something to change. You know, there's always going to be something to change. So you just got to focus on your winning trades, and you got to keep doing what makes your winning trades win. Right? And then you're just going to let probabilities and God handle the rest. Because, you know, otherwise you get stuck in this loop of forever second guessing. So we just got to write it out. But it's crazy that it came in December as well, which is kind of wild. I guess it kind of makes sense too towards the end of the year. So I think it also has something to do with that. One of them was I was just lazy. I didn't wake up on time, so I kind of missed out on the first trade. So it should actually be loss, loss, win, loss. But what can you do? Can't do anything. Anyway, this is good for people who think I'll just win the pre-London. That's not the case. Most of my losses are coming in here during pre-London. It depends on the market, really. At the end of the day, it's like you can't control that. The only thing you're going to control in trading is your risk. That's all you can control. Are you going to reduce risk? Are you going to increase risk? Like this morning, I took this one trade you see right here, and I lost 585 bucks. 585 bucks. So now I'm waiting for my next trade. What that trade is going to be. It's going to be a winning trade or losing trade, but we're going to manage our risk. Now the question is, should we get into a break here by 42.13? But I think I'm going to have to wait. I think I'm going to have to wait for price to move up a little bit more, set up, and then get a continuation. I think that would be the safest thing to do because, I don't know, like right now it has this zone that it's playing with. Just fill this range down towards support. Just needs to set up and then break those highs to move up. If it doesn't do that, maybe we just get a sell continuation. But the more it sets up here, the more interesting it's going to look. That's the thing. Let's see if we can get any like proper structure. Maybe we can get a variable we can work with. Something like price to come down, create a support. Maybe like do one fake out like with a wick, pull up, and then leave that wick behind. And then start breaking the highs. Then just increase the confluence for the trade a bit more. So that's something that I could consider, but gonna have to wait for that to happen. We have to wait for that to occur. Play it out off the London fake out and could consolidate to come down on this 1 minute. It's a bit strange. What numbers did we even get? What did we get on Friday? We got neutral numbers. Inflation came out neutral. So, you know, nothing has changed. Nothing should have changed. I'm going to wait and see if I can get a little bit extra confluence for this. Otherwise, I'm just going to let it move from this zone and then see if I can catch it above. There's considerable upward pressure on the future side. Oh, that's nice. Let's see. Futures right now. But it says futures is down 0.09%. And at the same time, the daily is bullish. Looks so weird because of this gap. So yeah, it creates a bit of inconsistencies, right? It's like, how can you even read that? It's got a gap and it's saying bearish, whereas gold has got a gap and it's saying bullish. See, it's like chopping up here quite a bit again. I think it's considering to break above this area. This is where the sellers came in before. So it's considering whether to get a break above this zone to move up bullish. Little accumulation break. Corrected that range. So yeah, I think the best thing is honestly just to wait. Trading is easy, guys. Remember that? Easy. Yeah, it's easy. Hardest way to make easy money. That's for sure. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm waiting for 15 close above 42.20 and then we're off to the races for a big win. What is that? Oh, do you see the clean range? Yeah, this is what? 42.20. Yeah, 42.20 here. Looking at 42.20, we got like, yeah, it's true. We got that range, that 15-minute clean traffic. That's where I actually thought, you know, would be going for the pre-London session. Would be like we break these highs and then price would just move up and like clean that range. That's definitely a key point right there. I just don't like whether to take this position here because it does look good. We just got these variables. We just got some kind of variables here today. Oh man, I think it needs to push up like 0.22% daily buys to flip bullish. Yeah, trading's easy, winning is hard. Or actually, trading is easy, losing is hard. Losing is hard. Winning is the easy part, right? Winning, like, kind of like, if you think about it, winning's like the easy part. Losing is hard. People find it so difficult because it plays on psychology so much. Losing's hard, winning's easy. Man, one loss feels worse than 10 wins feels good. It is likely to visit 0.68, 0.618 from Friday's high to today's low. I see this thing flip. It's about to flip, I think, the daily buys. Should be flipping right now. There you go. There's a flip. It's currently distributing, so I'm waiting for the next bus stop. Distributing from that zone. Look at this beauty. Yes. Beautiful distribution. What a beaut. Now I think it's heading for resistance here on the 15. We break above these highs. This is the thing, you know, if price is going to move up today, we got so much room for it to move up. You know, it's if it picks a direction, if it finally picks a direction, man, this is going to be the whole plan here for the rest of the day. But if it stays in this kind of gulag, then it becomes kind of tricky. You know, we got resistance and we got support over here. Then if it ranges, oh man, it could, you know, because we have FOMC on Wednesday. Let's see, this range is about roughly 270 pips. We got FOMC on Wednesday. It's accumulating orders here to fill this area. So I think that's the goal. And maybe this sell-off that we saw on Friday, this was a pricing in for the NFP FOMC numbers. So price can keep moving up there with that 87% probability of rate cuts. It could have just been a pricing in. See, this is a London Open. So it looks like on the London Open, we first got one break here, about 30 pips. Boom, boom, boom. Then we just got another break over here. So we got like 2 attempted distributions here and here from those channels. And yeah, right now we're just waiting on follow-throughs. See, daily bias is literally just flirting there at 0.48%. Hey, hope everyone's weekends were good. Same to you, Joshua, and everybody in the chat. Now we got a new week here ahead of us. A new week full of possibilities this week. Full of possibilities. Yeah, distributor is coming back to retest that zone. But yeah, it's the thing is, it's gonna have a lot of speed bumps, you know, to like move through these areas, these resistance points. So you already tapped it once. It's gonna be quite a difficult zone to get through. So BTC is doing. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. If you're holding Bitcoin drawdown, just change your currency to something like, I don't know, Tether or something. So instead of changing back to fiat cash, you could just kind of change it to a different digital currency and just hold it. So it wouldn't be as expensive to get back in. You gotta be like sitting in drawdown here, and you wanna protect or stop the bleeding. That's one thing that you could do until price starts to move up again. So just keep it as a digital currency. Damn, Daniel is back. Hey, Daniel. Good morning, good morning. Damn, Daniel. Back again with the volatility. I hope this week is going to be a clean week. Like, I feel like the reason why we're getting this PA is just mostly due to the FOMC. That's literally the last thing for the year that we have to get is FOMC interest rate cuts, interest rate decision. And then that's it. Now we can head off to Christmas with some kind of a direction there. So hopefully we do get it. I feel like that 15-minute is really setting up for it. What a morning looks like. More clean moves and more frequent as last week. Gold jewelry, a poor investment. Financial gold shines brighter. Kotak Institutional Equities has delivered a sharp message to India's gold-loving households. Buying jewelry is among the poorest ways to invest in the precious metal. It is the latest note. The brokerage argues that financial goals such as ETF coins, bars, and bullion offer a far superior efficiency, transparency, and liquidity. The warning at a time when a value of household gold holdings has surged, most of it locked in jewels. Yet Kotak points out that the so-called wealth effect is far weaker than it appears. The reason: buyers routinely pay hefty premiums through making charges and the cost of precious stones. Many of these stones have actually seen steady price declines, eroding part of the gains from the rise in gold prices. In India too, the recent price rally seems to have triggered a wave of FOMO, with retail investors pouring money into gold ETFs. Monthly inflows trend over the past 6 years reflect how closely investor appetite has tracked the metal's ascent. See, by contrast, investors in ETFs or pure physical gold bars, bricks, coins avoid the embedded costs that weigh down jewelry returns. The firm also highlights that a large share of India's gold is held by lower income households, often as financial safety net or for major life events such as weddings and educations. Wow, interesting. Did you guys know that? That India's gold, a large share of India's gold is held by lower income households. Yeah, but that's true. I watched a documentary once of this lady living in like basically poverty, and she was buying gold and this stuff for some kind of a wedding over there. It's like, wow, that's commitment to the traditions. Meanwhile, the traditional buffers foreign capital inflows that once supported India's balance of payments. Okay. Mama told me. Yeah, this thing's coming down. I don't know if we're going to see a trend today. I feel like what we're going to see is more of a ranging market. Range bound. It is just this one little payoff over here. But anyone who's like too greedy on that distribution has now been stop hunted. We're just really waiting on these orders to like overall get distributed. This whole area here. It's like a doji. You can think of it as like a doji candle. Yeah, that's it. That's all that this is. Little indecision candlestick. Get rewarded. Took me out, but I had reduced risk. What is this taking today? Yeah, today's been a real doozy. The only clean move that I saw was actually that sell-off, but that sell came I think shortly before the London opened, right over here. So that was like the only move. The rest of it was just avoiding like minefields inside that zone, but that was the only move. Price to come down there. As you can see, he's just chopping. Yeah, I even had this thing flip bullish. Bullish, take a buy. Oh, at least you got some kind of a profit there. Trading with daily trend. Break of previous highs, clean range to the top. That was a 15-minute SMA confluence, fake out confluence. Oh, nice. Yeah, still pretty good. much did it actually do on this? Like 30. Yeah, about 35. How much was this? 32. Tetra Tribe about to be 7,000 strong. Oh yeah, nice. On the Discord.
What is your profession?
What do we got right now? 669.92. Goal of 10k. That's a lot of Spartans in there. Imagine a room full of 7,000 people. 7,000 people in a room. See how that looks. Like a stadium of 7,000. What 7,000 people look like? This is what 7,000 people look like. So you guys just see the numbers, but behind the numbers, you're gonna see 7,000 people. Oh, that's 10,000 people. It's a 3,000. That's 10,000. 7,000. Can't zoom into it. It's a lot of people here. Just the same way when you're gonna see the numbers on your C Trader and your trading accounts, it doesn't hold as an effect as if somebody gave you the money. If somebody gave you the money or someone showed you. Right now, how many people got in stream? 249. 249. Oh yeah, we got like 250. An audience's size will fill up a small church or a lecture hall. Oh, nice. We got TetraFX church here today. Yeah, this is about how many people are on stream right now. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. And you got like 500. Sometimes you hit like 500. Oh, 500. Sick. An audience this size will need a theater to fit them all in. Well, it's like a school. Like 500 people would be like a school, right? When you put the school in the theater. It looks just about right. Like 500 people. It's quite a lot. 500 people. 1,000, 3,000. Damn, a lot of people actually, if you think about like some videos which get 100,000 views, a lot of people want to learn how to trade. Like, look at this, 75,000 people. This is a Notre Dame stadium. But now you get views of 100,000 views. It's 100,000 people all looking to trade the financial markets. Wait, what happened to the music? $180. But you know, like sometimes some people are gonna get more nervous, like maybe performing in front of 2 people, but it's easier to perform in front of like 500, 1,000, or like more people than it is less people. Preach, pastor. Oh, looking at your black t-shirt. Oh, yes. What a morning looks like. More clean moves and more frequent as last week. It just looked like it retested the highs here. Try to take out. It looks like it took out this high. This was the last high before the move happened. So it's quite interesting. It took out the last high before the move happened. Very intentional markets, I tell you. A candlestick closed below support and then broke to fill this range down towards 42.05. It came up, took out the highs. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's gonna be a very, very character developing stream here. London session here. Hey, proof something. Thank you for the sub. Da, da, da. Sometimes what you gotta do is you're just gonna set an alert. Set an alert here and then do something else until it gets triggered. Because by the time that's getting hit, you're gonna know volume is coming in. Maybe one for the sells, but what's the probability that this daily candle here flips? You know, the crazy thing is this one flipped like towards the end of the day. So it might have looked so bullish and then all of a sudden it just flipped and closed down bearish. On our kill zones, you're gonna see that dump. Massive dump. It happened so fast. It's like the daily had already known it was flipping down bearish. So it was a super bullish here at this point. Even looked like it was gonna break out and go for the ATH on the Monday open. But it just rejected that HTF resistance there. And then in a matter of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes, the whole daily flipped. Gave back all these gains so easily. All the gains from the Asia Open, gave it all back in like 35 minutes over there. After pushing up for a percentage of 1.20%. So yeah, it was very bullish. 1.20% in 35 minutes. Imagine now that's just gonna flip down and the daily closes negative 0.32%. That's how fast that the market reacts when it has its targets. Because then nothing stands in the way of the market at that point. Like once it moves, it just moves, you know? So I'm like waiting also for some kind of a confirmation here that we're moving. It's going and heading towards some direction. And hopefully by that point, then these resistances, we can get through these resistances. And maybe test, you know, just to fill the waters out a bit here. We don't have to fill the whole range today, but you know, we can just like dip a toe in here. Above 42.20, just dip a toe a little bit and then we can continue consolidating. But staying here is kind of depressing area for price to trade in between. Might even be a double bottom to finally break out this range. Yeah, hopefully. Just double bottom because it's the bottom of the range. There's a smaller accumulation here. See, so you got the John Wicks, you have buyers at the lows, and obviously sellers here by those highs. Maybe in a potential small little liquidity grab situation that happened here. Boom, below those lows. Support. Start coming back up. Because if we're going to start moving up, it makes sense that we also retest the highs of the consolidation. If people are just buying the lows and selling the highs, so if price moves up, even here, should at least keep coming up to retest and then come back down later, I guess. So yeah, we gotta wait and see here. Many. Last Christmas gave you my heart. Can play some Christmas tunes here. I got one. There's your Christmas breakdown, everybody. Have you heard of hydrogen-powered cars? Toyota has one in development. I heard of one which was like a scam, I think it was. It was like some what is it, hydrogen-powered trucks. And apparently, man, in the videos that they were showing their investors, they would be rolling the truck down a hill, pretending that it's actually powered by, I think it was hydrogen. It was some real diabolical shit. What is that truck company called? I think that wasn't this the company's name? Nikola. Forget electric and H2. Nikola 1 is powered by gravity. Yeah, this is a video. As of the video, they just like push it down some kind of a hill. Yeah, this thing was some serious fugazi. It's like, it reminds me of that girl who was selling these. Was it Thanos? Thanos girl scammer. Damn, it's so hard to remember these people's names. I'm really bad at remembering names. Hey, Shalu. Good morning. Good morning. We talk about hydrogen powered cars. I mean, like, these ideas have been around for quite a long time, right? That's why I got even Nicholas Tesla is the guy who supposedly also came up with the idea of electric powered cars too. And, you know, those ideas got shut down because of the oil industry, you know, fossil fuels, coal, etc., because they make a lot more money that way. So these ideas have definitely been around for a very long time. Are hydrogen power cars the future? This BBC documentary here like 10 years ago. I guess until we like fully run out of those fossil fuels and the money dries up, you know, the government's just not gonna allow such a thing to happen. If I ran out of fuel, could I urinate in the tank and get home? Oh, biofuel. I know Dutch universities are working on hydrogen powered cars. I know in China they have a flying car over there. You ever seen in woods? A Chinese flying car. Have to change something. There's not enough electricity to power cars for a majority of people. Yeah, unless you like start using natural resources more, like wind power, solar energy, water, hydro power. then it's all possible, you know? Like, all these things are possible. The only thing that's limiting us is just our own selfishness as a human race. We're just like intrinsically we like to sabotage. Yeah, that's the word. Self-sabotage. In trading, man, in trading, it also shows how we love to self-sabotage in trading as well. So when you go like into a losing streak, you just want to take more losses, right? We got a very bad habit when it comes to that. Man, the Congo, as I said once before, like the Congo River could power like the whole of Africa, for example, you know? And you could still sell that energy to countries which don't have a lot of like natural resources to harness. Man, all these things are possible. Very possible. We just gotta finish up all the fossil fuels first. That's just the way we are. Unfortunately, Woods is selling flying cars, negative 15% discounts for Christmas. Wasn't it like back in 2010, we thought by 2025 we would have flying cars. Which I guess we do, but not to the extent that we thought. I mean, even the movies were all about like, you know, 2025, gonna have flying cars in the future. Man, I never seen a flying car. Yeah, gold is struggling a little bit here to move up. Even though it is at the bottom of the range, it just tapped these lows. Boom, boom, boom. We should be coming up here. We should be coming up, but it's weakening. For some reason, the sellers are quite strong in this market. I'm not even sure if it's sellers or people just gone on holiday or something. Or it's like low volume. Miss the days of horse and buggy. I'm just waiting for type 2 civilization people be innovated as F. Yeah, I mean, you got some people like that already, like type 2 civilization people like Elon Musk. We have a new Owly coming in. Got about 3 minutes. That's true. Maybe it's the Owly, you know, like just the same way. And during the pre-London session time, it was waiting for this specific Owly candle to open for price to have a move. That was a 2 a.m. candle. So for this whole hour, it just closed like a doji. A doji candle. It looked like it was just waiting for that candle right over there. Yeah, this Owly is about to close as well. Looks like I might just close like a doji as 2 over here. HTF is just not really moving anywhere as much as we want the LTF to move. 4 hours also, you know, there's quite a lot of work for the 4 hour here if it was to reflip, to pull up. We'll be taking out these lows. Maybe we start pulling back a bit and then, let me bring this here. Then with the new Owly, we break these Rummy consolidation highs. We're off to the races. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, the only thing is that 4 hours, just the way it's looking right now, it's gonna be a lot of heavy lifting for price to come above here and then still flip. It could happen, and then in hindsight, that's just gonna look like a liquidity grab situation. Then you're just gonna leave a huge bottom wick down over here, like this. Then to push up, break that 15-minute resistance, and then push up with that clean range. See over here, the 4 hour clean traffic. And also, surely this creates some kind of imbalance in the market because of how fast it all moved down. You know what I mean? So it's like most likely gonna come and retest because these areas are like imbalance in a sense. And then the market will come, fill it out, and then do the same thing here, fill it out. And that's basically how the markets move, correct? They create ranges, they fill the range. Create a range, fill the range. It's like a never-ending thing that the market does. It's like fills a range, but it needs to fill the other range. Fills a range, then it's fill the other range. It's actually kind of crazy if you think about it. It's always like an itch. It's like an itch you can't scratch. You know, when you got an itch on your back, and you're trying to scratch your back, but you can't get it. You can't get it. Now imagine if the market was cursed with an itch like that for all eternity, creating an itch, filling that itch, but then not really getting it. Right, so that's how I look at markets. That's how I look at ranges. As you can see for yourselves, you know, it's not rocket science here. You can clearly see that ranges do like to get filled. So that's how the market moves. You see, and it created a new range here. Look at this, new range, and then it got filled. Got that itch. New range, and then it got filled. Create that itch. So yeah, let's right now it's creating like less and less range. PA rule 1, you can't make it happen, you just must wait. Yes. If you don't see anything, then don't force it, because you'll definitely know if there's a trade. If the market is worth trading, that is. You know, like you're gonna know even in the first few 5-10 seconds, really. Hey Kraken, good morning. Yeah, have you watched this movie? It's a really old movie, The Fifth Element, with Bruce Willis. I think it was in this movie they said by 2025 we will be having flying cars. This is such a goated movie if you haven't watched it. The Fifth Element. I got Chris Tucker in there too. This movie is from 1997. W movie. Go long. Yeah, but what's your idea to go long? You know, the only people taking longs is just buying the lows, right? So I would understand if somebody wanted to take a short here, because you hadn't retested that zone yet, and then it got retested like this. Came down. Next candle started to fill that range. See on the left hand side. Look pretty clean. Pretty straightforward. There's some kind of price action to actually look at. Right? When you look at something like this, there's actually something to look at. But when you look at this, question is, what are you looking at here? I think you're going to get really lucky. Take a position there. Four-hour already swept liquidity. Yeah, let's see. 4 hour. It did take out the previous lows. It's just stuck. it's just stuck over here. 15-minute gives clear price action, keeps making lower highs. You know, if someone was to ask you what situation the market's in right now, you just say it's range bound, it's moving sideways, because all this price action here, it wouldn't make a difference to what's currently happening right now. So it's range bound till the FOMC. So I think that it's also a skill to know when to cut off the analysis. You know what I mean? Like when to stop using older PA. Because I think a lot of the time we were super focused on using a lot of these older price action, right? I always have one rule when I come to the chart. I mark the most recent support and resistance, and then that's all that I use. You know, because when you're gonna use these older PA, then it's not as holding much value anymore. It's like old news. You know, like news gets old, like in journalism, quite fast, right? If you ever done journalism and you heard about that, like news gets old fast. It's like in trading, man. Like price action, it also gets old quite fast. You know, so whatever made this move happen, that's old news. Now we're looking at what's currently happening, that we can correct that old news. You know, so we're just moving sideways. Well, it's quite interesting. I've been noticing a lot of selling pressure on gold, like in December. As much as we wanted price to see price move up, it's always been kind of selling. Like it's like there's a small weight on it. So maybe I got to start looking at sells. Let me see what my positions were. What did I take? You see, this is the problem. Look at this. All my positions here have been buys. You see what I mean? Like there's something wrong with gold and not buying. Like all these trades were all buys right here. Buy. Took like freaking 7 buys in a row. Because I'm still operating from the mentality that we should be moving up. You know what I mean? We should be moving up. Maybe you should be looking at sells more. For now at least. But it's also been giving buy signals, which is the annoying part too. Maybe we're getting set up for next year. Like if you watch our recent breakdown video on this, you could see like this is definitely one of the scenarios we look to find ourselves in above these highs by 4,200. Price consolidating. Consolidate, getting ready over here. Yeah, but if we don't get those rate cuts, then there's a good chance this thing might tumble. If it's already looking like this, like some kind of a liquidity grab here. If that's not a pricing in for the buys, and it comes out that we don't have any change, yeah, this thing could sell off. Like we could see some pretty strong sell-offs on gold. Like just basically just confirming to everybody that they should be profit taking here towards the end of the year too. But if we get the rate cuts, and you know people are gonna hold and they're gonna scale into their positions on Goldie, get priced in before the new yearly candlestick starts. I'm looking at weekly chart and it's sold off from November, just like it's doing this year. Oh, and the weekly, yeah, we got weekly resistance. Just tapped a weekly resistance there. Sales could be quite strong if you're looking from a weekly perspective as well. Because look at this candlestick. It's just, you know, it's created a top wick. Pretty good top wick. Once it reflips and breaks its own lows. Man, look at this. Very nice. And you see even right now on the lower time frame, just selling pressure, chat. Like there's just these sellers. Yeah, just gotta keep an eye out for the sellings, the selling entries here, and maybe I can catch a runner. Just retesting that support multiple times. Yeah, I mean GJ is, let's see, the daily time frame is up 0.05%, but it should actually be more, but I think because we got market open gaps, so GJ also got a bit of inconsistency there. But GJ is by a resistance point on the daily, maybe something to keep in mind. However, like price is still moving up. The thing I like about GJ is when it trends quite heavily, right? So we're starting to get a bit of that GJ that we all love and know back into the market. Like, you know, when GJ moves up, it trends quite nicely. It moves up. It just keeps pushing. So that's something that I would just keep an eye out for, some kind of a similar PA like this to be happening over here. Oh, we're gonna get beyond that 4-hour resistance. Right now, market is just also accumulating here. It's just, you know, it's trying to break out above 207.400 psychological mark there. Let's see the hourly. You can see the range bet on the hourly too. It's accumulating. It's just getting orders in. So once it starts breaking these highs, then you should be like good to go then. Or the higher time frame should be good to go up. Yeah, but a really nice PA this is. Little pullback, accumulate, break above, reversal confirmation signal. With your new indicator and analysis, do you now execute your trade once you get session bias? Just use that for the London session, only for the London session. But it's nice to see it in line with the direction that you're looking for, correct? Like if it says bullish, that's perfect. You can't go wrong with this, you know, because that's just going to show you where the daily volume is, like who's more in control, buyers or sellers. Because they see right now it says waiting, so we don't really have anybody in control, even though you're going to look at the daily and it looks like bullish. It's because we just have a gap over here, right? So I think it removes some of those uncertainties for a lot of people, basically. That was the whole idea behind the indicator too. Like if anybody feels uncertain about the direction, then you're going to have it right there. It's going to tell you what you should be doing. Waiting, looking for buys or looking for sells. But of course, you can always get away with like some counter moves. Just focus on the session you're trading and how price moves during that time. Because a lot of this year, the London performs the best when it's trending, when there's volume. Because pre-London is pre-London, right? It's an early session. You can get the inception of the moves even during pre-London, so it doesn't really matter as much. But during the London is when the market should already kind of be warmed up and then picking a direction. If it's not warmed up, then, you know, it's going to say waiting over here, and then you're going to be most likely in ranges. Sideways movements, no direction. Can we agree 1 hour close below? 1 hour close below what, sir? So 1 hour here is flipping. Got 46 minutes for this hourly closure. It's at the bottom of the range. I would like to see this thing go up. I think that's the only thing that actually makes sense, is like if it pushes off this area here towards that next wall. So you gotta push from this wall to this wall. I'm just reading Bank of England and European Central Bank likely not to cut their rates this month. Rate cut by US Fed in December now 50-50. Where are you getting that information? It's propaganda. Lies, I tell you. We also got it here on TradingView, still says it's pretty high up. The US dollar index is down 0.1%. Dovish comments from some Fed officials, and the latest US labor market data supporting the case of a 25 basis point rate cut this week. You see a scenario that typically benefits non-yielding bullion. However, traders are cautiously waiting for Fed Chair Jerome Powell's speech for more cues on the path ahead. What happens next is the part no one agrees on, says Ipek Oskardaskaya from Swiss Quote. Some members worry that tariffs-driven inflation could offset disinflationary forces and argue for caution. Yeah, no, that's the thing when it comes to the markets. There's always some kind of a paradox. When you start digging into things so much, you're gonna find yourself being right and wrong all the time. You know, so you just gotta keep your analysis simple analysis, simple execution. Otherwise, you're gonna get stuck in a paradox. It's the same way if I take a buy here, there's no reason why there's no sell confirmation. You know, there could also be a sell here, same time as it's a buy, just depending on who's looking at the market. Do you think it's bearish? No, I don't know. For me, I think it's consolidating. That's all I think it is. You don't have to have a bias all the time. You know, like having no bias is also a bias. How was your last trading week? Pretty slow. Just, you know, just trying to get out the trenches here. But, you know, if gold is in the trenches, then I'm in the trenches. You know, what can you do? It just goes based off of price action, my trading. If PA is good, I get more wins. If PA is bad, I get more losses. You know, that's just how it is. Like, literally, like, I've seen this confluence on my trading over the years. It's all the time when, like, price is slow and rangy or wicky, I get bad trades. But when it's moving properly, I get good trades. So I'm always just focusing on what the market is doing and trying to remove myself out of the equation, because, you know, like, I have nothing to do with the results that I get here at this point. I just need to follow my plans and just look at the market for what it is, and, you know, manage my risk as well at the same time. But I can't control it. I can't control if the market is going to also range for the whole of December. But I think it's too soon to give up on gold. Not with the FOMC on Wednesday. It's way too soon. I popped an image and analysis. Market is moving between 2 5-minute order blocks. Just as you have it marked on your chart. Oh, but there's a 180 pip range, so there are trades to be made. Yeah, you said what? 180 from here to here. It's about, yeah, it's about like. I mean, there's trades to be made if you want to make a trade. Like, price is still moving anyway, regardless. But yeah, that's gonna be a personal. That would be a personal decision that you take, that you're gonna trade in this area here. Main Street maintains bullish bets ahead of final Fed meeting. Yes, me too. I'm part of the Main Street. But definitely the first week of December is running slow. Yes, definitely. First week of December here got a 4 losing streak. You know, got a 4 losing streak. Not on stream, but they're mainly off of stream. These are my trades. On stream this month, I think we only had like 2 break-evens, which should actually have been W's. It's just I think I was too greedy on the take profits. And then 1 loss here, which is 0.38%. The rest of it's just been, these are just like some off-stream trades there. So yeah, hopefully this is gonna turn around, and, you know, I think it's gonna be pretty nice. It reminds me of, what month was this? That's a crazy month. I think it was in August. August? No, September. Also September was crazy. Yeah, when you run into these speed bumps, but, you know, you just gotta keep going, because then it opens up again later on, you know. It's just same thing like in November. In November, I didn't think I was gonna actually make my P&L, but I actually did end up making my P&L with about like 24 trades. But November was quite slow as well. It felt slow until the volume came in. So volume started coming. That's when it starts to open up again. So I'm just waiting on that to open too. This is why I enjoy your channel. You are so real. I enjoy the authentic thought analysis. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like, man, in trading, if you don't control your emotions, especially, then you're pretty much screwed. You know what I mean? Like, you're pretty much self-sabotaging yourself. And I think being the victim and not controlling yourself is the worst self-sabotaging thing you can do in trading. Like, if you take a loss and you want to compound those losses, because it used to happen to me, you know, like in my first year of trading, I would take a loss and I would want to self-sabotage. You know, some of you are self-sabotaging and you know you are, but you're kind of like hiding it a little bit, right? But you know, deep down, you're self-sabotaging. There's something that you're doing that's not part of what you plan to do. Correct? It's addictive. It's almost addictive to self-sabotage. It's much easier to do that than to remain disciplined and follow your rules. I'll admit that. And the key is not to completely eliminate the self-sabotaging. It's just to like reduce it as much as possible. You know, because like one loss added on another loss, it starts to add up quite quickly in trading. Correct? So you want to stop on the second loss if you're noticing a pattern of bad habits. You're going to stop it quickly. Because it's always harder to make the money back, right? So that's all I would say. Like the main thing that I learned over the years with a lot of traders is self-sabotage. That's what really messes even the greatest traders up. Is to get to a point where the hole keeps getting dug deeper and deeper and deeper. And you know, you're gonna watch a lot of movies. I would always tell people to watch this movie called The Rogue Trader. Watch The Rogue Trader and you know exactly this psychology that people deal with on all levels of trading, from beginner traders, novice traders to expert level traders. People have been doing it for like years and years and years, decades. You know, we're all gonna deal with self-sabotaging once in a while. Question is, can you stop yourself? Right? Can you stop yourself? Some people like to test the waters and just see, like, maybe they're gonna get lucky or see what they can kind of get away with. Sometimes you can't tell whether you're trading with emotion or logic. Yes. Does, you know, okay, so this is what I'm going to say. There's a small window in your thought process where it does know, but it's such a fleeting moment that it's easy to miss. You know, if you don't think about it, it's such a fleeting moment, it's easy to miss. From the moment you take your trade, you're gonna know somehow, right? But the problem is, once you're in, you're stuck in, you're committed. And it's a lot difficult to change your mind once you're committed. That's the tricky part. It's a human psychology thing. Once you commit to something, it's a lot difficult for someone to change your mind, right? That's why some people, they're gonna go to the graves with their errors, knowing that the things that they did in life were wrong, but they're gonna find it difficult to accept those facts. You know, it's the same thing as in trading. It's just a micro expression that you have on the charts on a daily basis. So I think you do know, but if you don't know, then I think that's also very risky. Then at that point, that means you're almost an NPC. If you don't know the difference between emotional and logical trading, then you got to look at yourself and say, am I an NPC? Because you should know, right? Every trade that you take, it should have some kind of a meaning of why you took it. But if you're just trading to trade, then obviously you're not going to know. Five-minute is consolidating nicely. Maybe we break above 42.11.94. We could see some volume come in for those buys purely based on the 5-minute consolidation play. Yeah, I hope so. Like maybe from this region. This is the one that I'm actually eyeing here. I want to see price break out of this zone. Your inner demons are acting like you. Can you please set up GJ? No. Can you please send in a chart? I see that breakout come on above a 4212. December P is no fun. Yes. I mean, like, I guess it depends. You know, every year is gonna be a different story. For December this year so far, we're gonna see what happens. 2023 was okay. You can even see with 2024, like, the process was really not. Oh my days, it was actually really nice. December 2024, about like 18 trades, but so free. I got blue skies over here. What are we doing? Oh, like 18 pip points. Nice. Yeah, now we got a story for 2025. So like every year is gonna have a different story. Like each month, if you think about it this way, like each month, every year it like shuffles, right? It's gonna have a different story of how each month went. So I think with December, it makes sense. It makes sense for a lot of people to be kind of like struggling a little bit. I think it's more reflective, not really on the trader. It's more reflective on the market. If the traders already claim to be profitable and consistent, then you know I think it's just more reflective on the market. Because what you'll realize, it's going to be multiple people experiencing a similar effect, right? It's never just like necessarily one person. You're gonna notice like several people that you follow gonna say something similar. Because it's like we're all looking at the same candles, right? Like everybody trading profitable. We're all here together on this boat here singing Kumbaya and just hoping that, you know, price is going to move. Because what you're going to do, like when you see candlesticks like this, just because you live in a different country doesn't mean you're getting a different chart. You know, we're all looking at the same chart over here. So you can see the condition right now. It's like a lot of wicks, lots of wicks, lots of wicks, lots of wicks, lots of wicks, consolidation, liquidity grabs, boom, boom, boom. So, you know, it's a universal experience. So that's what I like about trading, is you're going to find yourself a strategy that's going to be a universal strategy, because you want to be making money when people are making money. You don't want to be making money when people are not making money, because then you got to question yourself, you know, because you want to be part of the people who are going to make money in the market, but they're only making money when the markets are moving, those people. So if you're making money when the markets are not moving, then, you know, that's quite interesting. I'd love to see how it works, that same strategy, when it actually starts to move again. Because the way I see it, right, even if you look at the pre-session time, there was only a handful of people who could have caught this move, right? This is the only true honest distribution from that pre-London session here, from this section. There's only a handful, like very, 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 very few lucky people could have caught this move to the downside. The rest of us, maybe gonna get chopped up in here. Because it didn't break all at once either. We already had a candlestick close below once and actually break those lows. Correct? After giving a liquidity grab confluence as well. So why would you not take that first signal, but rather wait for another fakie right over here? So that's what I'm saying. It's like maybe giving yourself a second chance, but like very difficult to catch this move. So that's kind of like, I think that's something you can look at and say universally is true. right? Because you're trading what you see, not what you feel. I think there's a big difference. Huge difference. Trading is possible until December 15th at the latest. After that, the market goes haywire until Christmas holiday. I cut that sell pre-London. Check Discord. Yeah, you see, gold sells pre-London. Close at 20 pips. Maybe got like a bigger stop. Reduce pips initial stops above here. Nice. Reduce stops from 23.5 pips to 11.4 pips. Really nice. Yeah, reducing stops always good. Market is bouncing between the 5-minute bearish order block and the 5-minute bullish order block. Yeah, it's consolidating here. Come on, fly, Goldie, fly. Break about 42.11. Still not too late to join the longs, bro. What if I took a long here and then that becomes a losing trade? Then what? Why don't you send your long position on the Discord so we can have a look and see what you think like price is gonna do. Bull is building now. Yeah, I kind of laughing in my head because I remember one time I went to the casino and I had this one friend who never had money, but like he was such a good company to have around. But he was always a brokey, you know. But we really did enjoy his company. So one time, one of my other buddies gave him some money to gamble at the casino because he convinced him. Right? He was like, "Man, this is it. Like this is gonna be it. We're playing roulette." And he was convinced about the position that he took, and then he lost the money. And you know what he did after he lost the money? He just kept quiet, man. He just kept quiet. And my other buddy was like really pissed off at him. And he didn't even say anything. He was just drinking his free beer. That's the same thing when you're going to suggest me. It's still not too late to join the longs. Because if I now take a long position and then, you know, it goes against me because he said like, or somewhere right here, then I'm going to be like that guy now. I'm just going to be like pissed off and, you know, then what? Yeah, exactly. You just take that quiet sip. Take that quiet sip. Because in trading, man, there's no we in trading. There's no we. There's only I. So if I take a trade, I'm gonna lose that trade. You know, there's no we. There's no we. If I lose like $500, I lost $500. If you lose like $500, you lost $500. You know, like $400, 600, whatever. That was the funniest thing I ever saw, man. Like super expressionless, lost the money like really fast and just taking quiet sips. That's what happens when you're gonna listen to people. You know, you should always make your own decision, I think, you know, somehow. So if I take a long, that's going to be my long, and I can't play the victim. You know what people like to do? They're going to follow a stream like this, take a trade, win money, and be happy, right? But when they lose money, then they're going to blame somebody else and not themselves. Yeah, you got to self-sabotage. That's a self-sabotaging mindset. Let's see. It came all the way up towards resistance, and you know, it flirted with resistance, and it's still not breaking. So, again, like there's this selling pressure in the market that I've noticed of late, which you just want to be very cautious about too. This is a no trade zone. Yeah, at some point I used to be really, really addicted to casinos. I think like a good chunk, or not a good, like there's a really good part of my life where we used to hit up casinos religiously. Religiously after school, even when we went out for drinks, we just go out for drinks and then straight to casino after that. We wouldn't like club or anything anymore. We just like have drinks at a bar and then go to a casino. Like there's a huge part of my life that was like around super fixated on beating the system like that, learning about gambling and all that. I actually have a friend who still does it. He made about like I think $4,000 in November to October on these sports betting apps. There's a system to it, but you know, it's very difficult. It's not like trading. Trading is a little bit more in your control. You know, gambling is gambling at the end of the day. But there's a fine line between gambling and something like trading too. That's what I like. You know, you got to think about like every day you have to make at least, let's say, 1 or 2 good decisions every day. That's all you got to do, is make 1 or 2 good decisions. First decision will always come with risk. How much risk are you going to take on that position? 1%, 0.5%, 2%. You know, that's the first decision of your day. If it's a winning trade, what are you going to do? You're going to take another trade, or are you going to call it a day? So you just have to make really good 1 or 2 decisions when it comes to money per day. That's what I think. Like every day, just make at least 1 or 2 good financial decisions. That's how I look at trading. So this morning, at least I took 1 good decision, was to reduce my risk in this goat shit, because I know price has been goat shit, and because I'd already been on a small losing streak of about 3 losses. So I was like, all right, let me reduce my risk. That was my first financial decision of the day, was to reduce my risk. Perfect. Now my second financial decision of the day is to wait for price to show me direction. And once I get that direction, now I'm going to have a better probability of seeing something that I want to see. And that's it. That's the difference between trading and gambling. I used to be the 7 prop in craps and increase my bet every roll. It hit more than any other number. Oh. Lucky number 7. Lost 150 on Friday and today 150. In trading, luck is a small factor. In gambling, it is a huge factor. Yes. There's always a way you can sway the odds in your favor. Especially if you play something a little bit more competitive like poker. But yeah, I mean like most games at the casino are like based off of luck. Yeah, like GJ came down too. Just hit that daily resistance point. Nothing too interesting there on pound yen.
Bomboka!
Gold steady ahead of Fed meeting. Gold prices held near 4,200 pounds on Monday, stabilizing after a weekly decline as traders await for Federal Reserve final policy meeting of the year, where officials are widely expected to cut interest rates. Mixed U.S. employment data and core inflation in line with expectations have supported the case for additional easing. Current market pricing implies an 88% probability of a 25 basis point cut in the 3.75 to 4% funds rate, with expectations of 2 more reductions next year. Oh, nice. Have a bullish 2026 too. That would be awesome. Aside from the rate decision, traders will also scrutinize the Fed's updated economic projections. Meanwhile, JOLTS job opening report, the final labor market, Elsewhere, China's central bank increased its gold reserves for the 13th consecutive month. Yeah, here's a sellers. This is what I'm talking about. There's these lingering sellers in the market. I think it's like a pricing in. So I'm like even considering changing my bias because, you know, I still want price. Like macro fundamentally, everything makes sense for longs. So all my 7 trade 0 buys, right? And also just because I got buy signals. But at the same time, it's like the sellers are lingering. They're like waiting for buy signals to take the opposite side or something. That's what it feels like. Yeah, and you don't need an indicator, you don't need nothing fancy, man. Like all you're gonna look at is the charts. Just look at the charts, look at your performance, how you see the candlesticks reacting. If you go on the 5-minute, for example, if you look at something like this, right? What's the probability that gonna get people making money here? You see this, and then you see this, and then there's only a bit of sunshine here. So what's the probability? It's got similarities, like if you're gonna go into a casino, for example, and you're gonna find a table which is not nice, right? So this table here, you know, you could go and gamble if you want. And we've probably all done that, you know, for us who've been to the casinos. We know it's not a good table. We know like things maybe not the greatest. But, you know, we're going to sit down anyway, right? We still sit down and we still play. There are so many times that I would do that, like if when the casino was empty and I knew like you just knew it wasn't good, right? It was just not good. But you just got to sit down and play anyway. Because that's what gambling is. What makes a table good or bad table? If there's volume. You know, there's a difference if you're gonna walk through a casino and you're gonna see people like playing and betting with volume, and there's cards on the table and you can see the cards and you can see like there are gonna be high cards on the table, or if you're walking through a kind of like a semi, you know, like not such a busy casino and there's a few tables here and there, a few people, looks like it's moving slow, risks a bit off the table, as you can see how people are gambling as well. Then you're gonna know. But now in trading, it's a similar thing, but except now is what you want to see is candles actually like, you know, we spoke about this. I don't know if you watched the last go onto my channel and watch this video. I also uploaded on the WAP database. But watch the video for... Is it market structure? Yeah, watch the market structure video. I explained this towards the end of the video, I think. Yeah, you gotta watch his videos, you know, like when we make these videos, I think... I think I explained it in this video somewhere. But basically, you just want to see open spaces, though. Like, you want to see price being a little bit more spread out. I like put on my kill zones. You don't want to see it congested, right? Like an ideal... the best way to explain it without getting too technical is just this. See like how much more spread out it is. This is the easiest way to explain it without getting too technical. So if you look at this and then look at this, the big difference. You can already see the wicks and everything. A lot of like foliage here. So that's not good. You know, I just got my hands in the patience pattern right now. Like this. Just got my hands like this. Just down over here. Patience pattern. Till something happens, you know, till something changes. Something needs to change. We need a variable to change here. Does anybody watch that new Now You See Me? What if it's out? In the Pirate Seas. Yeah, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. 2025. Should be a pretty good movie, this. Oh, it got a 6.2. Wow. Did not expect that. I thought it was gonna get at least a 7 and above. No, quality is still crappy. It takes a lot, you know, even Will Smith said it himself. It takes a lot nowadays to get people to go to the cinema. It takes a very good movie, and as a reason why movies pushing a lot of like CGI and, you know, because it takes a lot to get people to go to the cinema nowadays. I have watched it. How is it? Why would you rate it? The new Now You See Me. I always find you can learn things from movies like that, you know, when it comes to psychology and the way people think. I went to cinema last week to watch Zootopia 2. Where are my whips? Whips for Woods. Whips for Woods. Going to the cinema to watch Zootopia. Where are my whips? Why would you go and watch Zootopia of all movies that you could watch? That is... Gotta explain yourself here, Woods. That's not very alpha of you. Yeah, let's see. Always blame the wife. You love it, just be honest. I think the last cartoon that I watched in the cinema was Ice Age. And fun fact, during that screening, there was an earthquake. So, I think that was a sign from the universe as well. Telling me, get out of here. But it was the Ice Age movie. And then the screen started shaking and then everybody had to get out. So you went to the cinema and you chose to watch Zootopia over Now You See Me. You chose to watch this over Now You See Me. Despicable. Just despicable. I'm sure I even got a higher rating because it's some kind of a cartoon here. Yeah, I got an 8 out of 10. Alright, hopefully like price can start gearing up now. I see volume is starting to come in. And I got the VIP chair, so I had a massage too. I've never seen... Oh, Now You See Me 1. You're gonna really enjoy it. Alright, let's see. 5 minute... 5 minutes gearing up here, quite nice. Let's see this push. Starting to wake up slightly a bit more. Want to see it break through this level. I think this is basically the inception right here. This would be the inception, price to move up, and then maybe create a bit more start. Hopefully it, if you look at the chart, since the pre-London time, like 90% plus of this has just been accumulation. Accumulation here, accumulation here. Right? So there's nothing really that you could have... This is all such a small piece of the cake. 90% of this is just avoiding whips. And I think that's what trading actually is. They call it trading, they should just call it waiting. I think when people ask you what you do for a living, you just tell them you wait. I'm waiting. I wait for a living. Because your job is not to trade, in fact. It's just to take as less of those as possible. Now it's breaking the highs. So I break the highs 42.12. See if it can keep pushing up a bit more. See if it can distribute from this area. That's the thing. This is technically a setup right over here at 0.40%. But we got that daily bias still saying waiting. This 5 minute here is about to close in the next 2 minutes. It's quite extended. That one. It could keep pushing. We've seen price keep pushing, but this is also quite extended there. Like 48 pips, it's already done. Be right back. Alrighty. Back to the gulag we go. Looks like a 5-minute liquidity grab here. Well, 42.12. Yeah, we're gonna need to see a commitment of 100%, Goldie. This looks like a comb. There's that barcoding here. You can take this barcode to your local grocery store and they're gonna scan it and they're gonna find something there for you. Pure barcode. Geoeconomic uncertainty likely to shape gold performance in 2026. Gold's outlook for 2026 is likely defined by ongoing geoeconomic uncertainty, the World Gold Council says in a research note. Unexpected events such as Trump's Liberation Day tariffs this year are impossible to anticipate. They note, adding that the frequency of tail risk events is on the rise. The Trade Association thinks the forces of soft economic growth, accommodative policy, and persistent geopolitical risks could support gold rather than undermine it. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so you got the World Gold Council saying this in a research note, and you got the Trade Association thinks the forces of softer economic growth and all of these things can accommodate further gold upside. Investors will likely maintain some exposure to gold given the unpredictability of current geoeconomic dynamics. In a world where shocks and surprises are increasingly the norm, gold's capacity to provide diversification and downside protection remains irrelevant as ever. That's what I'm saying, but that's not what we're seeing. So you heard it here, folks. That is the world. That you've heard it straight from the World Gold Council. When November came. The World Gold Council. These are like the green grots from Harry Potter. This is what I think of them. They're basically the ones governing where price is gonna go here. Green gots. They're like those, what are they, like elves? Elves who protect the wealth from all the wizards. All the market wizards that put all their belongings in these like very secret chambers. And you see this guy here kind of looks like Powell actually. On the money, banking on a new Harry Potter experience. Green Gots. Look at this guy. Stealing all the gold. Man actually like suited up like Powell too. I think volume will be kicking in later. NY open potentially. Yeah, it seems like one of those, because right now it's at 5 a.m. Eastern hourly candle that just opened. So definitely I think the next one, that's going to be pre-New York. Maybe that one could move. Because it seems like it's market's pretty much just being range bound since pre-London. I think even the Asia session too. Yeah, pretty much the whole day. You can see like the wicks. All the wicks building up. It looks like it's held by too much rejection. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's... Even if you can see something like this, you could say this could look like a buy. Right? This could look like a buy, but there's more rejections to the lows than there is to the highs. But you see, eventually, price still came downwards. So right now, it's more like 50-50. What's that daily bias indicator? It's exactly what it says it is. Just a daily bias indicator. So when the daily is bullish, it should say bullish. Same for bearish. When it's bearish, it should say bearish. Simple indicator, but I think this is just something that people struggle when they start learning about higher to lower time frame analysis. Also kind of depends on the way you trade, because some people, they do higher time frame analysis, but they base their trading off, for example, something like this. So at that point, it wouldn't even matter what that daily bias is saying, because it could be bearish, but your overall HDF analysis could be bullish. But I think this is mostly used for people who trade like intraday. It's a really good indicator. It's in the description box. You can get it under free daily indicator. Some people are just gonna draw a trend line and then just assume that, yeah, that's it. Just wait for price to play out. I feel personally attacked by these Nightbot comments. How do I get it? I want to try it out. It's in the description box. Been on the chat since pre-London. Keep thinking I should have bought bottoms and sold tops in this range, but that never works when I do it. Exactly. Then don't do it. Then don't do it. It's okay not to trade. That's also a trade. Not taking a decision is also a good decision to make. You know, that's also part of the game, right? Like even, for me personally, I love these kind of decision-based games. And in those games, you can also choose not to do anything. It's a choice not to do anything. And that's kind of like what you got to understand sometimes. Like there's this game that I really like. It's called The Query. And it's all decision-based games, right? You just gotta make decisions and try to keep everybody alive, basically. So there's this one scene where you're fighting over a gun with this old lady, and it's showing you to press X. But the real move is not to do anything, because if you keep fighting over the gun, then what happens is you end up killing her. But if you don't do anything, then, then she survives. And you could make some friendships. So yeah, I mean, like, you gotta see, like, not doing something is just as good as doing something. I always call it money in the bank. Whenever I don't take a trade, I always look at that as money in the bank. Euro USD is about to fly. Let's see, euro dollar. Nice. See, also euro dollar is kind of slow over here. It's like a doji. The daily candlesticks. We all got like market open gaps, but not a lot of direction here on the daily opens. Okay, this euro dollar is saying the daily is about 5.3 pips. And obviously, since now you're trading dollar, it's USD, euro, USD. So euro is the base currency trading against the dollar. And the dollar is also going to have that same effect like we're seeing on gold because of the FOMC later this week. So it does look cleaner than gold so far, but we can also expect like indecision until we actually get some numbers or Powell come out and speak. You can see gold really taking a hit here. It actually looks like a bank holiday. And it's just a normal Monday. It's a normal Monday and you only got Italian bank holiday today. And tomorrow we have ADP weekly employment change, JOLTS job openings, and then we're going to have FOMC statement. But I think what the number one thing this week is to do is to avoid whips, right? That's the number one goal. This isn't really a week where you're going to look at this week and say, oh, I'm going to pass a funding challenge this week or have those goals. Man, this week is just survival. All you got to do is just survive. You got to survive these ranges until Wednesday at least, or Thursday. So be okay with not making a decision, you know? Might save your account. So, you know, just be very picky about your trades too. I think that's what I'm going to do. For December, I'm going to be very picky about my trades because now I'm trading December over here like it's just any other month. But I think what I should do, I should be very picky about the trades that I take. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we can turn this around over here. I'm just going to be very, very picky now. Because I see it's no longer giving me November energy. So at least this week, I'm going to be very picky. And then see if next week we start moving. Because you know, like when price is moving, you're going to take more risks. You can take more risks when there's volume. Let's wait for NY. Sir, big fan. Thank you, Mohammed. Yes, you basically win all trades you don't take. What's the name of the indicator again? It's just called a daily indicator, daily bias. Oh wow, 50 to 100, 130, $1,370 profit floating in 20 minutes. Taking sells on Bitcoin. This is Wall Street bets. This guy's like flipped 50 bucks to, I should say 50 to 1370. Yeah, this is the thing, you know, it's easy to run up an account, but then to maintain that is the difficult part. Because you're going to run it up, then you're going to run it back down. Let's see what's like bro selling Bitcoin. I thought Friday Bitcoin was down negative 1% on the daily. Oh, today's recovering. It's up 1.70. Yeah, BTC is slightly trying to recover there. Hello, TFX. Do you trade Asia and New York too? No. I don't trade Asia and I don't trade New York. I don't even consider pre-London Asia. That's just pre-London because Asia has already had majority of Asia is gonna be in their early sessions. All right, now we're in London, and in the next 40 minutes we're gonna be in pre-New York. So this is a London, you know, this is a London session right here. So then you're gonna have the London New York crossover, but at that point you might as well just say you're trading New York session. Why don't you trade in New York? Too many red folders. And, you know, by that time of the day, I'm also going to be like doing something else by that time. I think you should always structure trading around your lifestyle, not the opposite way around. So if you're not free or not that free during the New York session, then don't trade New York. Focus on, you know, something like the pre-London or London session or even Asia. So that's one reason. And because I have a lot of free time, generally speaking, then I get to choose what I want to trade. And I would prefer not having to trade the New York session because of the red folders that you get. I like the early trades. Early trades are a lot more clean, a lot more clear. You know, that's something that always stuck with me in my journey was to trade around the news. You know, a lot of my mentors used to tell me this, like trade around the news. And when does news come? New York session. That's when you get the red folders. You never get red folders during the London. Pre-London, we never get red folders during pre-London. Never. You know, never except for the government shutdown because that kind of like threw off timings of some releases. But besides from that, we never get anything red folder during the pre-London unless you're trading maybe something like GJ. Sometimes the pound gets a red folder, but if you're trading gold, you're in the clear. You're in the clear up until, you know, like New York session opens. So you don't have to worry about it, nothing. All you got to worry about is your price action, right? Like if you even remember that trade we took on Friday and how close it came to SL and then it just popped back up. You see something like that, at least you're okay knowing that that's technically driven. And that's not due to any kind of folders. Because if you do a folder, then your spread's going to go up and you're going to have a lot of other problems, you know? So it's just like one less thing to worry about. Can you explain? Because, man, sometimes you forget. Sometimes you take these trades and you forget there's a red folder, you know? What MA are you using? 50 and 8. What's the difference between them sessions? Just the way they move. Pre-London is more of like that push. And then London is more of like a little bit more of a push. And then as you're approaching New York, you know, it's like the volume will start to behave slightly differently, especially if price has been moving up during pre-London and London. As you approach just 5 a.m., you'll notice a bit more consolidation. And then maybe with pre-NY, you might notice a break below support like this, a small correction. And then with New York session might even do some fake outs and then have the continuation for the rest of the day. And then that's how you get the daily candlestick now is going to close bullish. But you're not really like hold during the pre-London necessarily expecting to catch the whole daily because of the pullbacks, right? Because pre-London you also come in a bit later on, like right here, so you might get stopped out for pre-London. But if you want to catch that whole daily continuation, maybe you're gonna have a better chance of the New York session over there once it sets up and then starts to push. So I would say that's kind of the difference, but obviously you don't really have to catch the full daily candle. You can still catch really nice moves during the pre-sessions too. But the London session is always a bit harder to catch those bomber clots. It also depends on the market condition. So if pre-London didn't move that much, then London has a better shot at actually doing something. I only trade Asia too just after London open, have the whole day to do whatever and no news. Yeah, exactly. You got the whole day. You can do something else. That's why I like it. It's just like structure trading around your time zone and, you know, what kind of like makes the most sense for you. So it's like as stress-free as possible. You know, you could do that, but some people really like this graveyard shift. My mentor used to live in Miami, and he used to show up for the graveyard shift, which is this 3 a.m. London Open. You know, you just gotta wake up. Just gotta wake up, man. Sometimes if you want to chase that bread, you just gotta wake up. So people do that. They do like the London, so they're gonna wake up for it, or the pre-London. You know, money never sleeps. Well, after daylight savings, it's a lot easier to wake up for the London and pre-London. But when it shifts back in, when is it shifting back? When's daylight savings over, chat? It's Jennifer. Is it March? Yeah, when it shifts back, we're gonna start stream an hour earlier again. So now at least you know you got more time. You got an hour extra sleep if you want. Believe it or not, gold has an AVR of $39 US. That's 790 pips in one direction, but it's usually swings in both directions during the day, possibly moving thousands of pips. Yes, like even if you look at Friday, man, look at the Friday candle. It opened and went, how many pips is this? It did 500 pips, and then it came all the way back down, another 500 pips, and then it pushed down, let's just say another 170 pips, 60 pips. But that's even small compared to like what these other candles are capable of doing. You know, we're seeing gold do 1,000 pips. Right here, 981 pips. Like easy. Look at this candle here. Did like 1,700 pips. Did like 2 of these bad boys. But yeah, I mean like gold's average volume, I can tell you, is like 500 pips on a daily. On just a normal years. 500. Big, did you swing trade in your early days or always scalped smaller time frames? I swing trade, and that's when I realized that I'm having trades going to profit with swing trades, but then it would always come back against me. So for example, like, you know, a swing trade like this, maybe based off my analysis market structure, I'll do something of the sort like this and start looking for reasons why it should just drop heavy like that. And then I would always find my trade do this, go into profit, and then come take me out later. That's when I stopped swing trading. That's when I started focusing on the 5 minute and the 15, 5, the 3 minute. The 1 minute, I never touched the 1 minute like until much later on, towards the tail end of my first year. Because you still have to build confidence and understanding of market structure. So yeah, I mean, like, I tried swing trading, but it's not for me. Because of that exact reason. Being profits all day just only gets stopped out when the markets change. Because now you're holding through sessions. And remember we spoke about how the sessions can also like shift. So you're holding through London, you're holding through New York. There's a lot of exposure to surviving those types of trades. And I feel like the people who trade swing trades, they're gonna have like a bigger account, correct? Most of the time, those guys have like much bigger accounts. So you know, you're not gonna ideally replicate that. You're not gonna ideally replicate that. You don't have big enough account size. You know, some of you can't even go a week without taking 5 trades. Some of these swing traders that go a whole year taking maybe about 6 or 7 trades in a whole year. Some of you can't even end the day without taking 1 trade. So how are you gonna swing trade? So I think being in and out of the market there's no difference between holding from here to here or holding from here to here, but like more pips. 1% is still 1%. Swing trading is not for you. Need to that instant gratification. Yeah, me too. I think it just depends on who you are and you know what you want to do. In the beginning, swing trading sounds nice until you actually do it. People are gonna tell you, oh, you know, it's stress-free. You don't have to look at the charts or worry about this and that. Man, have you been in a swing trade and you're constantly looking at your phone, grocery shopping, after the gym, out the shower? You're constantly on your phone. There's no freedom with swing trades. And anybody who's telling you that is just kind of like lying to you. Most of the time, they're kind of like lying to you. Every single person that I knew who was swing trading was just always trying to sell something. I'm not gonna mention any names, but they're getting exposed left, right, and center if you're paying attention. You know, swing trading just doesn't work for me. Swing trading is like, you're gonna also take longer to learn about trading, right? Waiting for a 4-hour candle closure is not the same as waiting for 5-minute structure. This happens a lot faster. The same thing could happen on the 4-hour, but that's gonna take you days. So it also kind of like, you know, it stunts your growth. So imagine learning swing trading for a whole year on higher time frames. It stunts your growth, as opposed to like reading the lower time frames. I think you know what I think swing trading is? It's the best for macro people who incorporate macro fundamentals. So use the macros, and this is what my retirement plan is. When I retire from trading, I'm gonna become a swing trader, right? All I'm gonna do is wait for macros. So I wouldn't trade as much anymore because it's still earned income at the end of the day. Trading is not like passive income. It's still earned income. So it's not like the most ideal. But like a best way to still be involved, man, I'll just be waiting for macros, interest rate decisions, geopolitical news, things like COVID, when COVID happened, and just be taking like trades, a good stop loss, and just letting them run, just running it up, like 10% risk maybe on the account. So in a year, 10% per trade, you know, good stop loss and in line with the macro fundamentals, like, you know, I think it's pretty nice. In a year, you're going to take like less positions, but really good trades. Like this year, for example, I think we only had 2 interest rate decisions, 2 rate cuts, correct? That's in a whole year, chat. We're in December. That was only two rate cuts. Yeah, so I think it works differently. If you got patience, I think swing trading can be really nice and lucrative for you. If you got patience and you're going to do your due diligence and you're not going to chase the market and let the trades come to you, follow the news, man, that's why Warren Buffett says himself, if you can make like 1 decision a year, he's quite happy about that. Swing trading is awful. I tried it ages ago. Back to your red letter thing. You can go to bed thinking you're well up, but wake up and it goes back to your stop loss. Yeah. You gotta go to bed with that position. You're literally marrying that trade. Because, you know, the unfortunate thing is people are just not taught to do it right. When they're taught about swing trading, they're taught with a trend line bounce. Or like some kind of stupid thing, you know, but they never teach you like how to incorporate the macro fundamentals. That's a missing part, I think. I haven't seen that much in the industry. I had to figure that out on my own. Like nobody was teaching macro fundamentals. Everybody was just talking about these stupid Forex Factory red folders. There's only so much you can do with those red folders. Those red folders are gambling. They're all gamblings, yeah? They're all gambles. Only so much you can do with them. But if someone explained to me a bit better, then I think that would have been much more interesting. So whenever you're gonna watch someone talk about swing trading, pay attention to whether they're talking about macro fundamentals. If they're not, just know that's a fugazi, because price is not going nowhere without volume, as you can clearly see here. So you're telling me you're gonna take a trade off the weekly time frame and expect a trend line bounce? Come on, man. Where are my whips? We gotta wait for Powell or some kind of like injection of volume to come in. Otherwise, price is not gonna go anywhere. That's why it's easier to take intraday trades. You know, if you're gonna swim from this island to this island, it's a shorter distance than if you're gonna swing like a much larger distance, right? Like this matters. So yeah, guys, pay attention to that. No macro fundamental, fugazi. You're either gonna learn the hard way or the easy way. And the reason why they don't teach the macro fundamentals is, guess what? Because they don't actually trade. Surprise, surprise. Because that actually requires you to have a bit of maturity to understand how that actually moves the markets. But if they don't teach it, they don't really trade if they claim to swing trade. don't take my word for it. You know, everybody's gonna learn in their own time, but I think this is just something that at least you have to say. You know, you gotta at least get it out into the universe. Maybe, you know, it's gonna help like 1 or 2 people. You know, because the idea is like we're trying to shorten the learning curve, right? Most people, this learning curve is like very long because they're gonna believe certain things which may not be the case. So I think being cynical and like hearing the hard truth is gonna save you a lot of time. So I'm a big advocate of telling what's on your mind, you know? So if you got a problem with me, you gotta tell me what your problem is. Then we're gonna see how we can move forward. Because there's no reason to keep it in, you know? That doesn't help anybody. You just gotta like have the hard conversations. That's what actually helps people move forward. Look at this thing. This is volatile. Dishing out whips today, eh? My back's still sore from saying I went to the cinema. I think I'm not gonna lie, I watched a bit of Zootopia too. Like, I watched the first one. I think I watched a bit of the first one. It's okay, Woods. It's good. It's good animation. Got like an 8. Damn. An 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. I tend to believe those ratings like most of the time. But there's some really gem of movies which get like 5.5. They get really low ratings, but they're really good. Like Scarface, for example. You know, Scarface was really looked down upon when it came out because people thought the acting was too much. Because, you know, this was a different time, but that movie aged beautifully. Nowadays, it's like a gem. Yeah, they thought Al Capone's acting was a bit too much. But nowadays, everybody's like, say hello to my little friend. The bullshit PA is a squeeze between VWAP and 200 EMA. Yeah, the moving averages are going to consolidate within this as well because PA is consolidating, but it may be waiting for a higher time frame, maybe like the 4 hour to close. So you got about like 30 minutes for this 4 hour candle here to close on my broker. Leg day is the most important day. It's like journaling. We don't want to, but it's important. That's true. I gotta pay my dues today as well. Today is a dues paying kind of day. Yeah, just kind of waiting to see what Goldie's gonna do. Like, if at least it can move from this zone, it would give me a better idea of where price will be heading. Let's see. Okay, it's starting to break down below. Let's see, 15 minute, you got some clean range. From here to here, bunch of rejection wicks down there though. But at least if it can stop moving, at least break out of this zone, that's going to be a good sign. It may go now. Yeah, you can see the volume is starting to come in, like 8 seconds for 5 minute closure below support. That's a new 30 open. So yeah, I just took out these highs. Now I got the new 30 open. Let's see. It's quite volatile. See if it actually like finally moves from this area. It's a complete goat shit. But you know, it's still looking left here at its buddies. Still some kind of rejections over there. So for price to move, right now it just has to move. But structurally speaking, the structure doesn't look the greatest, to be fair. You're selling into rejections, you know, with not a lot of like clean range to the downside. So if it moves, it just moves because it has to move. Eventually price has to move. But that's what we want to see. We want to see it open it up and then get out of this zone. At least 4206. give us a different sort of variable to play with. Yeah, dumping no top wick, just straight nut. Reverse head and shoulders on 15. That's what I even thought for, man, this should have been a running trade. Like this morning, pre-London should have been a runner. This is how it looked. You had that inverted right over here. You had that clean traffic above resistance. This thing should have just broke above and just continued to skyrocket. But no, it decided to chop around. Oh, now it's filled the range now towards support. See, that's it. Like very, very difficult PA. This is very difficult. Because even on the 5 minute, this candle didn't even close below support. It just closed like next to support and then broke the previous lows to fill the range down here. Now you're going to see some profit taking. It looks a bit clean on the 15. Market's playing out your nose. Got your stop loss. Seek and destroy. I'm sure someone took a buy. It usually happens like that. Whenever there's low patience, the moment you take your buy is then when the price moves. When market gets you to your extreme impatienceness. And you got a nice little head and shoulders here too. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Accumulation breakout. Yeah, we gotta be very, very cautious. Very cautious with the markets right now. You know, it's in a very delicate situation. This is. I'm sure I think this is manipulation. Yeah, it's because it's a new 30-minute candle that opened, so it could move. Usually pay attention to these candlestick opens because then you can anticipate some kind of a volume, right? So I think it just needed to move, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back into this consolidation here. Yeah, chat, gold is being boring. It's gonna do what it did here. Basically, this is also, but this is not the cleanest accumulation break, but you see how it like broke with so much volume like this, and then it came up. So it's like the market character right now. So it broke a lot of volume and see it's pulling up again. So basically there's no follow-throughs. Hey, Chris. Taking out buyers, enticing sells. Just need one bomber cloud from Santa and call it a year, boys. Yeah, I'm waiting for a bomber cloud myself. Definitely gonna need one for December. How many trades we've taken so far? About like 11. And it's the second week. Not bad. This is a good frequency of trades. Definitely overtraded. Yeah, right here on the second. On the second, I overtraded. But I managed to end the day off. One, two, three, four. I think I noticed that the the head and shoulders pattern often resembles a change of character followed by a trend continuation, meaning a break of structure, a pullback, and further breaks. Oh yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice volume indicator. Like every time you get an entry, like you see one right here. So for example, look at it from this perspective, right? This is how I typically use it. So let's say, all right, let's say like price coming down like this, create a bit of structure. We have a resistance been formed over here. And then we have some clean range towards this area. This whole zone is about 57 pips, right? So you notice the candlestick close above structure like this. And then you're waiting for the break, right? All right, so now you get a solid break over here. And you're expecting that this range is going to get filled up. Then you're looking just from this perspective of, hey, that could possibly be inverted head and shoulders. So that could possibly be my right shoulder, which will give me volume, right? And then if it plays out, you know, awesome. Then in hindsight, you're going to see it as a head and shoulders. Just the same way as whatever just happened right now. Exactly what just happened right now. So if you're looking for a sell, boom, boom, boom. So you could just be anticipating this in confluence with your entries. And that's just about it. You gotta sell, and then expect volume to come in. So I would look at it as a short-term signal in a sense. It could be long-term, but it's also like just for the short term as you're getting into your positions. Yeah, it's just a confluence. Confluence, like SMA confluence. It's always good to have those confluences. Yeah, even mini ones right over here. It's kind of more difficult to see though. Oh, and in the 1 minute, little head right there. Just getting into your trades, expecting volume to come in. Hey, congratulations to anybody who caught like any kind of moves today. You know, that's not been an easy task. And you were basically catching a profitable day where 90% of this is just moving sideways. You know, so very well done on that. Don't feel like you need to overtrade because, man, just doing that has already been amazing. Just getting one trade, because look at this, only distribution here and then a tiny one there, which is a V-shaped reversal. So you gotta maneuver all of this. That's why I said this week is more of survival. And if you can make your account survive this week, then I think that's gonna show some kind of a good discipline for you. You know, in such conditions. Because this is just Monday. See how Tuesday is gonna be. If it cleans up, or whether we're gonna deal with this on Tuesday as well. Because there's a chance we might deal with this on Wednesday too. Let's see, when is that FOMC meeting? It's gonna be at this at 2 p.m. So that's about what, 6 hours past the New York session open. So that's more towards the end of the day. So we might have a scenario like this for Tuesday and Wednesday. So just something to keep in mind. Creating liquidity, yes. I mean, it's just like all this here is liquidity, man. And everyone seems to be looking at, or I would say majority of people at least seem to be looking at breaks above a 4220 area over there. Because that 15-minute clean range. So all that's like engineering liquidity here. For later, when price moves up. It's gonna be like 300 pips to the upside. But all this is just goat shit. You know, that's what you can write over here if you want. And then also for the sells, there's really nothing too appetizing for the sells. Because you have multiple levels of support. There's not a lot of room. And price loves areas of least resistance. So that only leaves this 4220 level. Now the question is, when do we start breaking? Can we break today, or are we going to break tomorrow? Or, well, when can we start to see candles close above here? And don't expect it to push the whole thing all at once. I think what it's going to do is just going to test the waters and then be pulling back down. And then on Thursday, we're going to get a very good idea of where price is overall going to be heading now for the last 2 weeks of the month, or like 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 weeks of the month of December. That's what we're going to get now on Thursday. We're going to have a better understanding. But till then, you're just surviving. You're just trying to keep your account above water. You know, you try to put your head above water so your account doesn't sink. You don't want to sink, because then you're like, blah, 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 blah. You know, then your account's going to sink. You don't want to sink. You're just trying to keep your head above water over there. That's the mindset you should be approaching the market this week up until like Thursday at least. Just trying to keep your head above water. Whether that means reducing your risk or just being very picky of the trades that you're going to take. So I think I'm going to be very picky from this point on of the trades I'm going to take. It looks like it didn't pick up enough orders, so I'm expecting a break below 41.92 area before further pushing up. But they say the market's not moving because the flax capacitor broke, chat. Did you guys hear about that? Apparently over the weekend. Some flax capacitor in the CME group over there. Something broke. It went offline for a bit. It's for a short duration. Created like some gaps over here. Yeah, man. Something about a flax capacitor. You never heard about that? No, I'm just playing, chat. That's a flux capacitor from a, where is it? Back to the Future. This is a thing that uses to go back in time. The flux capacitor. Little Stranger Things joke. There's what is that, like episode 304, where they're telling yeah, where they like made a joke about this thing too. Yeah, so flux capacitor. You know how y'all are saying that I go forward in time? I'm a time traveler or something. So you see the flux capacitor broke over here. So we're currently trying to fix this thing, you know? Fix this thing, and then that's when we can start time traveling again. I think that's when now I can clean up some of these losses over here. Then we should be back and ready to go. But until then, we're gonna take it easy. And just wait. Just sit on our hands. Yeah, dude. All right, chat. I gotta head out over here. Take care, everyone. Don't do anything crazy, because you know this is not the time to be playing with gold. Wait for it to move. I'm personally gonna wait for it to move. I might look for another trade later on today, but I'm gonna wait for it to break and move somewhere. You know, I need to move away from this zone and then start looking for some setups. But right now, just take care, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Adios.
Pull up in the whip, face diamond like a grid. No time for the slip, homie. Now we bout to dip.